Okay. It just happened, one of our houses was available next door to me. So Pamela's had a residence to be in the camp, and it's like she's just one of the camp residents now, and I wish we could keep her. So Pamela comes from the UK, and she started very extensive training at the Arthur Findlay College, which we've spoken about. It's like the best of the best college to study for mediumship and spiritual healing. And she had excellent tutors, and for nearly 10 years did platform work at her church and other churches, and was very dedicated to her training. And since then, she's certified with the Spiritualist National Union in speaking, demonstrating mediumship, and teaching. And I want you to think of a certificate as like getting a master's. And then she went on to get a diploma. Think of PhD. For demonstrating mediumship and teaching for the Spiritualist National Union. And she has become a tutor, think of a professor, at the Arthur Findlay College, and she runs workshops and mentoring. Many of us here in the camp have been mentored by Pamela. She came 2 years ago. It was extraordinary. Many of us met her. Many of us have been taking Zoom development classes with her and just receiving her. But I want to say this time, I've been attending her classes, and her ability to share her dedication to spirit, her faith in spiritual intelligence, her access, her transparency to work with spirit has really made a shift in me. So I think she has another workshop today from 2 to 4. I'm just saying you might want to attend if you're a medium or a aspiring medium, because it's like she transmits her dedication and her commitment. So, plus she's really fun as a girlfriend. We went to the beach. So please welcome Pamela Pollington.
Just want to thank our Madam Chairperson this morning as well.
Thank you.
And obviously Jamie for her lovely singing. Not forgetting Jamie. Now I'm standing here in front of you and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I am nearly in tears. And I'm thinking I've got to get up here and talk now. So, the word, I always go to the Spirit whenever I do a talk for, on the platform. And the word that I received to talk about was the word of joy. Yeah, the word of joy. And I've had such the most amazing time this week. We'll go into that in a minute. Well, because I don't want to get emotional. I don't want to leave camp, can I just say? I want to stay, but I can't. So thank you for making my stay, especially Susanna and Daryl, Reverend, everybody that's come and attended and travelled miles to be here. Lovely Francis, who's flown in from Puerto Rico. So I do, everything's been so beautiful. So I'm full of joy at the moment. But I'm just going to put that put that out there. What brings you the most joy? Now, it's a very big question, isn't it? And sometimes it's quite hard to think about what brings you the most joy. And actually, it depends on who you ask. Now, if you was to ask a child, maybe a 3-year-old child, what brings you the most joy? It might be their favourite teddy or their blankie or whatever they have. It might be that brings them the most joy. Some children don't sleep without their toy, do they? And if you lose it or it needs washing, boy, so what brings you the most joy? And then when you talk to a teenager, what brings you the most joy? Now, for girls, it might be their makeup. Their makeup might bring them the most joy. Or nowadays, it's probably their mobile phones. That brings them the most joy. I mean, goodness me. If you have that mobile phone either taken off of you for punishment, I'm saying, or they lose it, or it gets broken, oh my goodness, they go into meltdown, don't they? I'm talking about my granddaughter here, who, so what brings her the most joy, or anybody? And then if you talk to maybe a 21-year-old, maybe it's their car that brings them the most joy. Maybe they've got the big car, they've passed their test, and maybe it's their car that brings them the most joy. But actually, all that is of the physical. It's all physical. It's not going to bring them the joy because, again, things can get lost, things can get broken. Again, in a car, it can be damaged. And then you think, well, that is all the material things that bring some people the most joy. And it might be in life that people strive in their careers. Maybe their careers bring them the most joy. Maybe making money brings people the most joy. But actually, none of that, when you leave this world, you can take with you. It's all of the material. So what I feel really that should bring us the most joy is actually making special memories. Making special memories with those that we love. Putting by that time to make it special, to really create happy times with those that we love. And sometimes, we may feel with those that we love, we may lose contact with them for some time. It may be there may be a falling out with the family. But while we're here in this present world, if there's something that you feel needs fixing, then reach out to those and start making those happy memories. Because actually, when we go to the spirit world, which we all will do one day, when we leave this world, we can't take all those material possessions with us. We can't take that job with us. And if you think about jobs, really, there's always somebody that's going to step in our shoes when we leave this world. Nobody's invincible. So again, we can't take that career that we strive so hard for. But what we can take with us is the memories. Because when we come back, from in the spirit world, when we come back as spirit communicators, we can share those precious memories with those that we love here. When our loved ones go to a medium and they bring about those precious memories that were shared, those we can take with us. So that really is about bringing us that joy. Another way that can bring us joy as well is being of service. Being of service to both worlds, to the spirit world, to this world. Helping others can bring us about joy. So the more we can help others, the more joy we can bring. Now, again, when we think about that and say, one act of kindness is not going to change the whole world, but actually it could change the whole world for one person. So that act of kindness can actually bring us joy. Now, I'm working on, I suppose being more... when you work on your spirituality in a way, is accepting help. And sometimes we find it really hard as a person to actually accept help from somebody because we're quite independent. We're quite used to dealing with things on our own. And then somebody comes along and they may say to you, "Can I help you? Can I do something for you?" And we say, no, we're fine, I'm fine. I don't need the help. But actually, we're then not allowing that individual to show that act of kindness. So it's about being open to receive. In life, I feel that you're either a giver or you're a taker. And it's almost like, but we've got to learn to receive too. So receiving an act of kindness from somebody, we may not want that act of kindness. We may not need that act of kindness. But actually what we're doing is, we're helping that individual grow. We're helping them feel good about themselves. It's like yesterday, somebody messaged me, would you like me to get you a coffee? I didn't really need the coffee. They're not here, so I can say that. I didn't really need the coffee. But actually, it meant a lot to them to do that. So it's, yes, please, that would be really lovely. Thank you. So again, it's actually showing that act of kindness by accepting the help from somebody else. So I'm working on that because, again, I'm quite independent and I'm okay with everything. But showing that act of kindness, we can't take that away from somebody else. Allow them to help you. Allow them to give to you. Allow them to want to be, kind. And then it's like, don't let another individual take away your joy, because that can happen quite easily. Now, I know throughout my journey within the spiritualist movement, and I'm going to say it here and now, that not everybody is spiritual. We can only be responsible for ourselves and how we treat others. And there's a principle that I like to follow, is treat others as you wish to be treated yourself. I'm not perfect, I'm just saying that, but I do try. And when you allow another individual to take away that joy, then that can really hurt deeply. And that's happened, I say, within the spiritual movement, that not everybody is spiritual. Not everybody wants the best for another person. And it can, within this movement as well, bring a lot of competition, where people want to be better than you. I want everybody to be better than me. I don't want to be better than anybody. But there can be within spiritualism, well, I'm talking about England as well, not here, but within my own development of getting my qualifications and things within spiritualism, that people can get a bit jealous about you. And they can then make it hard for you. But actually, when we think about the law of attraction, send them love anyway. Because whatever we send out there, we will get back. It may be that they are not making you feel good. Just send them love anyway. Because we don't want that joy to be taken away. Because we have two choices, don't we? We either let it affect us, or we show them a different us. I was told by somebody within the movement that I would never be a tutor at the Arthur Findlay College. Yeah. They looked me up and down. You haven't got the X factor to be a tutor at the Arthur Findlay College. Now I had a choice. Did I let that person destroy me? Or did I go out to prove them wrong? I decided to take the latter. Because we don't want anybody to take away that joy. And we can have a choice. Does it give us fire in our bellies to make us really want to work for something harder? And it's not about proving them wrong. It's about seeing the best that we can be ourselves. And that's where really within my own journey, I've always wanted to be the best vessel I could be for the spirit world. Or the best person I can be just to help another person. So we can only really, when, within the Spiritualist National Union, one of our principles is personal responsibility. So that personal responsibility lies with us. So that personal responsibility comes to how we let things affect us. Do we want somebody to take away our joy? No, we don't. So we bring that back. And we start working on ourselves, and we start working forward to bring about that joy. Now, within life, life situations can take away our joy. They really can. And, but again, that's temporary taken away. I haven't always been a spiritualist. When I walked into a spiritualist church, probably 13 years ago, just over, I was at the lowest point in my life. But actually, that lowest point in my life has brought me the greatest joy in my life. Because I found out who I was. And walking in a spiritualist church, I couldn't sing the hymns. I was I was, really down. I just lost, somebody very close to me, to the spirit world. But actually, sitting in the spiritualist church and listening to the messages of the mediums to prove to me that life is eternal, to prove to me that I was going to see my loved one again one day when it's my time, that we will be reunited. Yes, it doesn't bring back the physical, but what I've learned is from spiritualism is that we all have a time to be born and we all have a time to go. And in this world, we can't hang on to somebody forever. And there's that saying that it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. So therefore, within that positive thinking, I am grateful that I was able to have that person in my life for 23 years. And that person in my life taught me how to be a mum. And that person in my life taught me to be everything, to change my life, to learn how to love unconditionally. And that's what it taught me. So coming into spiritual church, I say, when you are at rock bottom, things, are bleak and bad. But actually, spiritualism teaches you how to live your life in this world. And it helps you every step of the way. So that, I'd always be eternally grateful for. And that joy that we can get from the understanding of life and the understanding of why we're here, the understanding of what makes us who we are, it can change us as a person. And I know very much, how much I've changed as a person coming into my religion. And I take my religion as spiritualism very seriously. I love what I do. I love working for Spirit. I love all you people here. And it is, we share what we are. We can share part of ourselves. And having that grateful heart, we do attract that. And coming to, Casadega, something that was within me for quite some time. And then I met Reverend Steve Adkins at the Arthur Finlay College, and he invited me over, and then COVID hit. And then I came over 2 years ago, but the kindness that I've been shown, even on this week, that everything the spirit world has said, everything we put out there, we receive back. So that kindness that, you can put into the world, you can receive back. So don't let anybody take away that joy. Just, want to emphasize that. And I'm going to share a quote, actually, which I absolutely love. And it's a quote from Maya Angelou. You may know it yourselves, so I'm going to use it. And actually, she's very inspirational. I'm going to share the quote, but again, I'm going to use another quote of hers because it's just come to mind about being a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. Because we all go through hard times, don't we? We all go through, many trials and tribulations, but actually, never judge another until you've walked a mile in their shoes. Because we can be very judgmental, can't we? We can look at somebody and judge them and maybe weigh them up, but actually we don't know the lives that they've lived. We don't know what they've been through. I'm just saying, so the next time somebody cuts you up on the road, send them love. Because actually we don't know what kind of day they've had. And there's this story, I'm digressing, but I'll come back to this quote, don't worry. There's this story of this gentleman on the tube in London, and he had his 2 children with him, and he's sitting there. The children are being really naughty, they're messing around, they're destructive, people are looking. But what they didn't realise is he'd just come from the hospital because his wife had passed away. They're tutting and huffing and, not giving. We don't know. We can't judge. So it's almost like saying, okay, just let them be. Because we don't know what people have gone through. So it's important to remember that. So I say, next time somebody cuts you up on the road or does wrong, just send them love anyway. So the quote that I wanted to share with you is that people will forget what you say. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. So that one act of kindness can mean the world to somebody else. So when we go into that feeling of joy and you think, what is it that brings you the most joy? It's spending time with those that you love. Spending time with those that you care for. Spending time with those that you maybe pick the phone up that you haven't seen for a while. Because it's no good when it comes to when they've gone to the spirit world that they come back as a message. So it's about learning to, be the best version of yourself and always show that act of kindness whenever you can. Because you will get it back tenfold from the spirit world. Because actually no act of kindness ever goes unnoticed from spirit. Because they're there with us all the time, acknowledging what we do. So remember, if somebody does you harm, just send love to them. Because actually, if we don't send that love, it actually affects us more than it does them. It doesn't affect them, it affects us. Because it eats away at us, because we're mulling it over and worrying about it. But actually, let it go. Thank you.